Hello, everyone. It is a brisk, cold, negative 19 degrees outside. We got about 2 feet of snow. Snowpocalypse is upon us, Ryan. I don't know. Our generator's running out of gas right now. What are we going to do?
It's going to have to be right into it because this snowstorm outside I messed with. I had to scrape the ice off of my car just to get on the turnpike to come to the studio.
Oh yeah, Ryan and I invested the money that we don't have in the show in snow tires. We are literally wearing spikes on the bottom of our snowshoes right now, trying to survive snow apocalypse and everything. No, it is
things that you would say right now if you lived in the Northeast.
Yeah, it is a very nice, clear 58 degrees in South Louisiana right now, low humidity. Winter actually is a pretty nice time of year. It other than earlier in winter when we did get below down in the 20s, it's been a fairly mild winter for even Louisiana standards.
If we go back to last year's winter when we had the freeze out,
which is about a year from today.
It would be right around February, early February, late January, when the entire city of New Orleans shut down because nobody around here knows how to handle ice.
Yeah, I was a refugee for that. The first time when I had to go to Lake Charles area, and of course Interstate 10 was closed.
Yeah,
I made it as far as Lafayette, and thankfully some friends were able to let me crash there. And that actually, this is a true story. Johnny Manziel's grandma made me breakfast.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, can't make that up. It was a pretty funny night. She pretty good eggs too.
I bet she does cook.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we're fine, alive and well. I didn't lose my legs running the last 2 weekends and everything like that.
Yeah, first and foremost, let's send out a congratulations to Mr. Matt Gobert, who runs back-to-back half marathons on back-to-back Saturdays for the none other than the Louisiana Double Down, 26.2 miles on 2 different Saturdays when you put them 2 together. If I was 17, I would have said, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a blast. At knocking on 30's door, I don't know about all of that.
I feel a little bit better today, but yesterday was pretty bad. Of course, got the half medals behind us for Louisiana Marathon and Rock and Roll New Orleans. By the way, we totally expect some endorsement money from them for that. Giving them at least give me a free entry if I want to kill myself again next year for it.
Plug.
But that's it, Ryan. Baseball season is upon us.
See the jersey.
The jersey is back out. The Wally jersey is back out for the first time since June last year. And last time our friendly LSU baseball team was on the confines of Alex Spike Stadium,
things didn't go so well.
It was not pretty. The Fighting Tigers were in the driver's seat, had a 4-0 lead in the 7th inning, and then went on to lose not only that game to the Houston Cougars, but then get embarrassed 12-2 in the elimination game, and got eliminated in regionals last year and at home in what used to almost be an unbeatable facility, Ryan, in Alex Park Stadium.
We were there last year for the Oklahoma. No, it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago for Oklahoma
Super Regionals. Whenever we went on to the World Series to lose to them.
We lost to Stony Brook in the Supers, but we lost.
That's right.
We lost to
UCLA and North Carolina.
Yeah,
that's where it was.
NOLA had no earned runs against them, but we couldn't come them out.
And then last year, like Matt said, when we host a regional, we bank on the fact that now we have a super regional. When we host a super regional, you can pretty much take it to the bank, looking at the history of the LSU baseball.
You start making your travel plans to Omaha.
Absolutely.
And see if you have vacation to take off.
Absolutely. And for us to drop 2 straight, and it's starting with blowing a 4-0 lead at home
in the 7th inning.
It really makes you wonder what the hell happened in Baton Rouge last year. But hindsight's 2020, like Matt was about to say. It's a new season, and it starts
February 13th, Friday the 13th.
That's what, about 13 days away, 15 days away? Not 2 weeks from Friday.
2 weeks from Friday.
So 17 days. 17 days. Yeah. 2 weeks from Friday.
But starting on Friday the 13th and the day before Valentine's Day.
That's my lucky day, the 13th.
Oh, it's an interesting weekend. You got Endymion the next day on Saturday. And Endymion's on Valentine's Day this year. That's really weird.
How many babies do you think we made during Mardi Gras this year? Just saying.
That'd be a fun over-under game. I guess we'd never be able to find out the statistics, but unless
if we fast forward and look at the month of November.
Yeah, can Basco get us birth records or something like that at Oshner?
If he can get a certain player by a certain name for a certain franchise's picture of their medical records, he can do pretty much anything. But I'm not saying he did or didn't do this. I just know he has access to them.
Just say the word allegedly, that way we don't get lawyered up.
No, they can lawyer us all we want. We have Catalfel.
We do have Capalfo.
That makes us invincible.
But with that said, I think the biggest two question marks LSU will face this year will
Number one,
who replaces Aaron Nola?
It's like asking who replaces Kobe Bryant.
It's a one in a decade type of a pitcher right there. Now LSU did get a little bit lucky and had the likes of Ronaldo and Lewis Coleman.
True.
Aaron Nola was just a different talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he was a guy that every time he was on the mound, you could almost feel confident to bet the mortgage that the LSU Fighting Tigers were going to get away with the win on it. Yeah, first guy up would obviously be Poche. The only really returning starter from this past year. Poche, a true freshman last year, somehow was able to command the Saturday spot, which is no easy feat. I think he'll get first crack at the Friday starts, and him having a whole year SEC experience, I think, will help. Then after that, it's
up in the air.
It's up in the air.
That's really one thing Matt and I were discussing before going live. Is that was the one thing I asked him. I was like, Matt, now that Nola's gone, who is our ace? And Poche, being the guy with the most experience, ends up being our ace. But if you look back on last year, Poche started off a little rocky.
And he got a lot better towards the end.
Really settled into his groove. And we had a nice 1-2 punch with Nola and Poche on those weekend series. It always ended up in the air on the Sunday game. If it was a bubble game, who was going to go out? And it usually was Johnny Holstaff. Right. Which, is not to say is a bad thing, being that we have 4 or 5 guys who can go out and give 2-3 innings, in one game on a Sunday and really shut the door on the opponent.
Yeah, in fact, I want to say the game when LSU did have the 4-0 lead. It was Poche thrown on the Sunday. We had the 4-0 lead. I believe
and they pulled him early. That's what it was. You're right.
And maybe it was because of the pitch count. But you know what? Postseason, you got to extend it a little bit.
Pitch count, I think, is such a speculatory, stupid stat. I understand you don't want to wear the guy's arm out and possibly ruin his career. But, I mean, that's when you're throwing 130, 140 pitches week in and week out. These guys are young. They're out there to play.
And they also have a week off, unlike the Major League Baseball.
Absolutely.
4 days off, too. So we can second guess it all we want. We're not the ones in the hot seat making the decision.
Moving forward now, Poche's our number one.
And then behind him, you got potentially 3 very potentially talented freshmen in Lange, Latz, and Godfrey. Who was one of the really big ones of LSU's number 1 recruiting class. We really don't know who's going to go. I think they're still figuring it out in spring ball. Latz was one of the really talented ones who missed, I believe it was Latz that missed fall ball. Just as a precautionary thing, they just shut him down, but he said he's okay to go. All 3 of them throw 90+.
Some nice luxury to have.
Yeah, I mean, you get your 4 studs here, to be ready for LSU, and
all freshmen.
All freshmen. So let's say
it's not like you got like Domingue. Domingue is coming into his 2nd year in Baton Rouge, but Domingue's a senior.
And Poche is already a sophomore. So let's just say, for hindsight's sake, Poche has 2 great years and leaves as a junior. You would have all 3 of those guys still with you as juniors.
With 2 years of conference experience.
And I don't think any of them have that special Kevin Gaussman 20-year-old rule.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We have yet to see them on the hill, so we can't really say if they do or don't yet.
I mean, this is the preseason thing. We won't really know a lot of things until SEC play starts. And it doesn't get easy right from the bat. LSU did get lucky on schedule roulette, but they open up at home against Ole Miss, who somehow made it to Omaha because some team who will remain nameless decided to choke it away at home.
Oh, wait, they beat the Little Sisters of LSU.
Yes,
that's true.
And let Ole Miss go to Omaha for the first time since Archie Manning was playing quarterback.
Wow.
Over 50.
Back when the speed limit on Ole Miss's campus was still 20 miles per hour.
Yes, that is right. I forgot. You're right. It was still 20 miles per hour then. Absolutely. But switching over to the offensive side a little bit, and we'll get back to LSU pitching. Talk about more closer and stuff like that. But I think offensively, the first question will be who's going to take over for third with Christian Ibarra gone now, although he's actually a graduate assistant taking the the Blake Dean and Alex Edward role the last couple of years.
Oh, so he's still with the team.
He's still with the team.
As a GA.
Yeah, he can't play or anything like that.
Right. But he still has an influence.
He's the undergraduate
because he brings a lot of experience to the team
and if
from
anything,
a staff perspective.
And he was probably one of the best defensive third basemen we've had probably since Hellanini.
Wow.
The 09 championship team. Nothing against Hanover. He was a good third baseman. But you put Hellanini in
his defensive percentage was somewhere in the 990s.
He was
somewhere in the 990s.
He was a guy that you did not expect to make an error, and he would be a guy, could bat 270, 280 and get you, and that's
consistent. Nothing to brag about.
Hanover had a little bit of better bat, but Hellanini was definitely better in the field. I guess first crack at it will be Danny Zardon, who got a little bit of experience there at it last year at times. He's the true freshman, played a little bit last year.
Yeah.
And then played a little bit of outfield, but also keep your eyes on Greg Beachman, who was probably he might have been LSU's biggest offensive get in the recruiting class, other than the Jordan brothers, maybe the twins. He's a guy that played shortstop, I believe it, Brother Martin.
Yeah, here from New Orleans.
And played shortstop, which is not an easy position to play. So I think they'll try to let him get some reps at third base as well. And Bregman needs a backup as well, and,
just in case.
And I'm sure he'll get some knock on wood. Exactly. You got LSU. They're very young, but they could potentially have some depth if these freshmen can develop pretty quick. Which baseball is hit or miss.
And the hard part about it is that LSU is known year in and year out for bringing in top-notch talent. But baseball is one of those sports, much like college basketball, where the best 9 on the field that day will win. So that's why you see schools like UC Irvine, these smaller schools, even Little Sisters of LSU, who played so well last year for the majority of the season. A lot of these schools, they have a lot of talent, but can they produce on the big games? And I think with the freshmen jumping off to, if they get a few good games in before they enter conference play, it really could give them the experience they need heading into conference play to really make a nice run and get a nice seed.
And for the first time, at least I can remember in a while, LSU starts off with Kansas and Boston College. I mean, it's two schools, not really
D1.
But it's D1. And then after that, later on, they're playing in the Houston Classic this year, where actually their Friday night game is against the Houston Cougars.
Revenge.
But then they're also playing Nebraska, and but it's another Big 12 power. It might be like Baylor or something like that. So I mean, they're going to get some. They're going to get a good crack at it at a neutral. Well, I'd say neutral site. I'm sure LSU fans are going to travel very much to Minute Maid Park over there.
We already know that the LSU population in Houston is very good.
It's the biggest outside of state alumni base. It's even bigger than Atlanta is for LSU. I mean, Houston right there. Baton Rouge, you can get there in 4.5 hours.
That's right.
A lot of people can make a weekend out of a very inexpensive weekend out of it.
True.
I think it's not that expensive playing at the Astros ballpark in an air-conditioned field.
Beautiful park.
But that'll be some good non-conference tests for LSU for sure before they take on Ole Miss in the first SEC series and whatnot. But
one thing I want to say about Beachman, when we were talking before we went live, Matt and I were discussing, some of the new guys coming in, and when he mentioned Beachman, his name rang a bell in my head because I remember last year NOLA.com was blowing up about this kid, and he was projected as a top 5 pick or a top 5 round pick in the major league draft. A lot of them draft 30, 40, 50 rounds deep and reach into the high schools for their farm clubs. And this guy said, no, there's no point even drafting me. I'm going to LSU. And this guy's got –
I think that's why he felt like round 21. Some teams just took a bite.
Why not? Let's see if he might come. No, this guy's a phenomenal athlete. He's a freshman. He stands at about 6'2". He's got a cannon of an arm from the shortstop position, so you might see him a couple different places if he gets in. If his offensive side of production really shows out, you might see Beachman in the starting 9 relatively early.
And I think it'll be hard to keep him off the field.
Right. When you got a batter who's batting 315, 330, possibly pushing 350. Now, granted, I'm speculating based on what he did in high school.
Right.
What do you can't keep that on the bench. So this guy's got a lot of talent. I think he was top 5 in the nation in recruits, in the recruiting standings coming out of high school. And Brother Martin, for him to sign in Baton Rouge and be as eager to play as he is, it's going to be quite an interesting season in Baton Rouge, watching Beachman play.
Absolutely. And the other hole on LSU as far as the field is who's going to start a catcher. I mean, I guess by default you could have Kate Tavik. He's a guy that has an okay arm, but probably the best bat out of all of them so far, at least from what we know so far. But then you got this very talented freshman in Mike Papareski, who definitely has a cannon arm, a Michael Gibbs type of arm, who will definitely be pushing for playing time. And who knows, maybe it could start opening day. And if that's the case, it's going to really make things interesting at first and second base. LSU is definitely going to have some versatility at first and second and catcher. Chenea's back. I think LSU fans probably would rather just see him be a DH against left-handed hitters because that's his best skill. Doesn't have the greatest arm. Maybe he can play in a midweek game to get the catcher's knees some rest. I mean, now he does have some starting experience at catcher, but you go on arm strength, it seems like it's the freshman by far. And then Savic can at least throw a runner out.
Right, that's right.
They won't be running at will.
And Savic has the experience as well, so he might at least start the season and see what we got behind him. One interesting thing about Paparizzi is Paparizzi and Latz played high school ball together.
That's right.
They're both coming into LSU out of high school. They're both gonna that's gonna create some chemistry that really might develop down the road when we need it most. To have a pitcher catcher combo who played high school ball together, state champions in high school in Illinois together, that could really bring a whole new level of chemistry for the starting nine in Baton Rouge. I mean, like we said, Latz is in the position to make a run for the 2 or 3 spot after Poche, of course, being our Friday night guy. So we assume.
Right.
So when you've got this combination already there, you're off to the races starting spring ball.
And then, of course, first and second base, I guess to take the crack at it, I'm guessing they're going to try to go and see if Kramer Robertson can have an offensive turnaround like Andrew Stevenson did his sophomore year. Because Robertson, he was a really highly tutored freshman, and towards the
set of wheels on him too.
Towards the end of the year, his average wasn't great, but he just seemed like when runners were on base, he would get the run home, and his defense got a lot better. And that's kind of how Stevenson started doing it. So we'll see. And Robertson, from what I remember, I believe did pretty well in Cape Cod. I think LSU had like 5 guys on the All-Star team for the Cape Cod League or whatever.
That's a lot.
So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, if Robertson can start to hit the ball, that's really going to give LSU a big advantage and a lot of versatility. You can play Connor Hale at first and second. You got K-Rob at second. You can put Savic at first. If you want to, if Paparazzi ends up turning up awesome, especially like against the left-handed lineup, if those guys are there, then, to get Chenea some playing time, you play him at DH. There's so many different variables right now, and it's way too early to even.
But that's such a nice luxury to really and truthfully have. We've got a few guys in the infield who have played first, second, and third base. So if we need to move certain people certain places based on their fielding and based on need for, say that was Wednesday night games, like you were saying, to really try some new things out, we have the opportunity to actually do it. It's quite the luxury.
Absolutely. And, of course, the outfield will pretty much be the same. You got Fraley Train, you got Stevenson, Laird, that's pretty much not going to change. But I think you see the Jordan brothers. One of them plays outfield, and the other one plays the left side of the infield. From what I'm saying, they'll get shot to like shortstop and third base as well. But I guess the only other real question mark is who's going to close for LSU now.
That's the big one.
Yeah,
that's the big unanswered question.
You got potential guys like maybe Parker Bug could step into that.
Who pitched well in relief last year? He really did. He really did.
He's one of those guys when he steps on the mound, he has that intimidating presence. Like, I don't want to screw with this guy. And I always like that. A lot of guys don't do this anymore, Ryan, but the baseball pants, they pull them up so you can actually see the legging.
Yeah.
I've always been old school.
Old school, I was about to say the same thing. But one thing Bogue has for him, the guy's 6'6".
Yeah.
He's a beast. Think about some really tall pitchers, over the past 15, 20 years in Major League Baseball who could really throw it. I think of one off top.
Randy Johnson.
The big unit. Guy's got a cannon on him. And when you're using that frame, you're not just throwing for your arm. And if you're throwing in college ball, you're throwing from the frame. You're throwing full body into the pitch. I mean, Parker,
and I want to
get him a little strength. He might get in the low to mid 90s.
And I'm trying to remember. I think Bug is a lefty. I'm not 100%.
No,
he's not.
I had to check our tablet here. Bug's a righty.
Was it Pearson? Maybe that was a lefty. I could have sworn maybe we had a lefty, but
I'm pretty sure we do. Let me check.
Because that's one thing LSU definitely tries to get is a lefty.
Latz is lefty.
Oh, there you go.
Latz is lefty. Pearson's a lefty. Poche's a lefty.
That's right. Poche's a lefty. That's what I was trying to think. But
shit, could you think having 3 starters as all lefties? That's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
That's
And
dangerous.
You know what's another guy I'm hoping can come back from injury? Russell Reynolds.
Yeah.
Forgot about him from a couple years ago. Last time he really had a start before he had the Tommy John surgery. He was playing ULL in a midweek game over there. It was a big game. ULL was a turning team. LSU actually eliminated him that year in the regional when they came to Baton Rouge. But Reynolds ended up throwing, I believe it was like 7 innings, a shutout, 2-hit ball or something.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this guy's got a lot of potential, and then he gets the injury. I'm not expecting the guy to be the weekend starter, but if he's a guy that can give us some middle relief, or set up anything like that, it doesn't hurt to have pitching depth, and hopefully he can find some of the form that he had.
When you got a hometown kid like Reynolds, standing 6'2" on the mound, and he got a medical red shirt last year, so he's got a full year to really heal up from the Tommy John surgery.
Which sometimes will strengthen the arm these days with the technology.
With the amount of time he's had from the last time he's been on the hill, we hope optimistically. He was somebody who really and truthfully slipped my mind. I forgot about the 2013 regionals when he pitched so well. This could be. I mean, we're stacked in the bullpen as well as our starting potential.
But it's a lot of unprovenness in the bullpen, so somebody's gonna have to step up and
a lot of unmeasured talent.
But potential, though, like you said, definitely
potential energy, not kinetic energy. Coach Kyle saying would be quite proud.
Physics was fun.
That was fun.
But that said, February 13th is the first game. LSU ranked anywhere from 2, which that's
generous.
That's generous. To 9 in the polls. I'd say 8 or 9 is a little more realistic. But hey, we don't know. That's why I have preseason polls, right?
That's right.
And in 17 days, we'll get our first crack at.
We open with Lamar.
We open. They might be our first midweek game, or actually might be. I know we do play Lamar, but I actually believe we play the Kansas Jayhawks.
Okay, opening Friday night.
Yeah,
okay.
This was basketball. It'd be a great game.
No, it'd be a fantastic game in the PMAC.
But Friday, February the 13th, the LSU Fighting Tigers take on Kansas to start the 2015 campaign, and we'll see what the Tigers got in them, Ryan.
You get to hear those famous 2 words in about 17 days. Play ball.
Absolutely.
Gotta love it.
But with that said, episode 71 next week, Ryan, this will be our recruiting show because
there's still more recruiting to be done. I thought we were going to get into that tonight, and I'm kind of glad we're not.
Yeah, and signing day is next week anyway.
Oh, that's perfect.
So that would make more sense. And then just a quick reference to it, LSU basketball this is a really important time for them. The next two weeks before Kentucky comes up, but this week, tomorrow night in the PMAC, they play South Carolina, and then they go to Mississippi State on the road on Saturday, who's not the Mississippi State team we're used to seeing in the SEC. 2 games on paper that LSU should easily win, but they also lost to Missouri. But
on paper, we should have beat the brakes off of Vanderbilt instead of going to overtime.
Right.
But 19 turnovers will cost you that.
Yeah, and it's one of those teams that when LSU does not turn the ball over, they play like they're capable.
They're practically unstoppable.
Right.
What are we, 13? Is it 13-4 right now?
There are 15-4 right now, 4-2 in the SEC. The next 4 are very winnable. If they can get to 19-4 and 8-2 before getting to Kentucky, and then after that they have to play
Florida
one more time, A&M on the road, Tennessee twice, and at Arkansas. I mean, those are games that LSU can definitely win, but it doesn't hurt to get yourself a little bit of cushion down.
Absolutely. I can't disagree with that at all. You got a lot of young talent on the hardwood, and when they play well together, Matt, they really and truthfully look like a Sweet 16 ball team.
Yes.
They really do. I mean, it seems like Tuesday night they've got great chemistry. Saturday, what the hell happened?
Yeah, I'm tired of calling them the dumbest 15-4 team I've ever seen in my life.
But do we call it how we see it?
Yeah, they're up and down. They look great at times, and other times they make me scratch my head. But we'll see what happens. Episode 71 next week. LSU football for the last time for a while until spring ball.
That's right.
But it's okay. We have a lot of baseball followers.
More hardwood, possibly some more baseball.
I hope we get to talk some more hardwood because LSU basketball is so much fun when they're winning. I'm not saying they got to be a Final Four team, but they haven't been to the tournament since 2009. It's way overdue.
For a program like LSU, as a university, I want to make sure I worded that right. For a university such as LSU, we've got to be able to compete, not just football.
Absolutely. That's it. There's only one thing left we got to do. Not America.
Roman Reigns.
Oh,
That's all I'm gonna say.
oh boy, he got booed mercifully at the Rumble.